You are now tuned into the Wake the Flock Up Network.
It's like, how do you tell somebody how it feels to be in love? How are you going to tell anybody who has not been in love how it feels to be in love? You cannot do it to save your life. You can describe things, but you can't tell them. But you know it when it happens.
Welcome to PopularNobody. We don't care if you're famous. Just make sure what you create is fly as fuck.
What is this?
Popular Nobody.
Popular Nobody.
It's fly as fuck.
What is this?
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
Music and art should never be in a genre.
Popular Nobody. We don't care if you're famous. Just make sure what you create is fly as fuck. Welcome to Popular Nobody.
Greetings, world. My name is Ariano.
We on the waketheflokup network.
This is Popular Nobody Podcast 3. We got A+ of the Hieroglyphics.
I ain't happy.
But right now,
Feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag.
Let's turn this up.
Useless, but not for
Gorillaz.
long. The future
featuring Dell.
coming on.
Let's
I
go.
ain't happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on.
Let's go.
Finally, someone let me out of my cage. Now, time for me is nothing cause I'm counting no A's. Nah, I couldn't be there. Nah, you shouldn't be scared. I'm good at repairs and I'm under each snare. Intangible. Bet you didn't think, so I command you to. Panoramic view. Look, I'll make it all manageable. Pick and choose, sit and lose. All you different crews, chicks and dudes who you think is really kicking tunes. Picture you getting down in a picture tube, like you lit the fuse. You think it's fictional, mystical, maybe spiritual hero who appears in you to clear your view when you're too crazy. Lifeless to those, the definition for what life is. Priceless to you because I put you on the hype shit. You like it? Gun smoke, you're righteous with one toke. You're psychic among those, possess you with one go.
I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, not for long. The future is coming on. I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on.
The essence, the basics, without it you make it. Allow me to make this childlike in nature. Rhythm, you have it or you don't, that's a fallacy, I'm in them. Every sprouting tree, every child of peace, every cloud and sea. You see with your eyes and see destruction and demise. Corruption in the skies from this fucking enterprise. Now I'm sucked into your lives through rust, so not as muscles but percussion to provide for me as a guide. Y'all can see me now cause you don't see with your eye. You perceive with your mind, that's the inner. So I'ma stick around with Russ and be a mentor. Bust a few rhymes so motherfuckers remember what the thought is. I brought all this so you can survive when law is lawless. Feeling sensations that you thought was dead. No squealing, remember that it's all in your head.
I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, not for long. The future is coming on. I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, not for long. My future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. My future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. My future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. My future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on.
Welcome to Popular Nobody. We don't care if you're famous.
Yes. This is Popular Nobody Podcast 3. What's up, world? What's up, Japan? What's up, Argentina? What's up, Boston? What's up, Anaheim? We got a great show today, or tonight. Whenever and wherever you're listening to this, this is Popular Nobody. We've got A+ of the Hieroglyphics. We did a phone-in interview. We're going to be talking about the contribution that the Bay Area has done for hip-hop and just the independent music scene in general. There's a lot going on in the world right now.
Popular Nobody.
There's a lot going on in hip-hop. We are all connected. We're gonna go into some of the history, connect the past to the future. Once again, this is Popular Nobody Podcast 3. Big ups to Concept 714, the Wake the Flock Up Network. I appreciate everybody joining this movement, taking the time to listen. I don't have the answers, but I do have some questions. Right now, let's get into our exclusive interview with A+. This is Popular Nobody, y'all.
Welcome to Popular Nobody. We don't care if you're famous. Just make sure what you create is fly as fuck.
Greetings, world. This is Ariano, episode 3, Popular Nobody. I am here with A+ of Hieroglyphics, Souls of Mischief. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for your time, and happy to have you on the 3rd episode of Popular Nobody.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm appreciative.
Oh, no worries, man. The main theme of this show is the Bay Area's influence, not only in hip-hop, but independent music. And I really feel like the Bay Area has really set the blueprint for independent music, and that's been kind of followed over the past 20 years. Can you kind of touch on your feelings on the movement that started years ago and how you feel that's kind of translated over to the hip-hop culture?
Absolutely. Well, what I believe is growing up out here, to start off, growing up out here, there's always been a lot of talent from a lot of different genres, and there's a bunch of bands throughout time, and, you know, it's been a place where there have been movements like, you know, civil rights movement, Black Panthers, the hippie movement, and all different kinds of movements were all here. So it's always been a kind of unique place. And throughout the years, there's never really, it's not an area. The Bay Area is not a place that's like, say, New York or LA area, to where they have a lot of industry there. There's a lot of, it's particularly entertainment, since that's what we're talking about. There haven't been a lot of, you know, none of the major record labels have offices here, you know, or none of the you know, there's never been any kind of industry really deep like that. And I think that's led to the independent mind state out here, and why people have, you know, taking their talents that way, just to, you know, there's always been talented people here. It's just not the same machine to get it out there, or at least being close to it. Like, say, someone who, you know how they always talk about LA, people go down there to see if their dreams can happen. Well, people know that's where it can happen at. That's where you can make it happen, where you would at least have an opportunity. Or people talking about going to New York. You know, people don't talk about going to the Bay to make their dreams of entertainment happen. It just doesn't go down like that. So, you know, I think that organically led to, you know, the independent mind state, and subsequently to, this being like you said, the blueprint or template for independent music the last few decades.
Yeah, I think it's you've got artists. I'm gonna date myself, so I'm about to be 40 here. I still have my black and white Too Short tape that I got from somebody from his crew in Oakland years ago off Telegraph Ave, and it's experiences like that, the E40, and then also watching somebody like Master P come to the Bay Area, and from an outside perspective, from my perspective, it was like him, not that he didn't have game or hustle before that, but kind of soaking up that structure and seeing how that was done, and kind of taking that structure and approach, back down south and then to the world. And then it's also interesting, years later now, I feel like the current model of the industry is what has been laid down the past 20, 30 years in the Bay Area, which is an independent, self-motivated business music approach. If that makes sense.
Yeah, man, I'd definitely have to agree. Growing up out here in Oakland, I remember as a kid when I was in elementary school and junior high school, and that's kind of dating myself as well. I'm 40, so 41 actually, and so I remember my older brother. I remember Too Short coming to the schools and selling his tapes out of his car. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't buy them, but my older brother would buy them. So we'd have Too Short tapes at home to listen to, and that weren't in any stores at all. And that Too Short doing that back in the day made him huge. He was, he's been an Oakland celebrity since then. Yeah. Before he had any record deal with Jive and was introduced to the world. So at a very young age, we were kind of exposed to a do-it-yourself style of thing, this style of movement when it came to trying to get your stuff out. It was just, we didn't look at it as if we have to do it this way because there's no other way. We just looked at it as like, this is how you do it out here. That was just the atmosphere growing up out here. So and admittedly, Master P came down here, spent a lot of time out here. He was in Richmond, and he was going to college out here too. He was at Merritt College, and he admittedly soaked up the game, or soaked up what we were doing out here and applied that template to his own hometown. And like you said, from there it spread to the rest of the world. That's where Birdman and them got their idea to do it like that from. Master P was doing it. And then, after that, it was just countless independent companies coming out. And, another thing that was, that made that such a viable option for artists is because, the industry had gatekeepers at the time. You had to get to the A&R person, and the A&R person had a stack of cassettes and CDs. Probably had somebody on his staff to filter through them and see which ones they thought was the best. Some younger buck or something, And if you didn't have some kind of angle getting to those gatekeepers, you didn't stand a chance unless you were independent, unless you went independent. And that became more and more of a viable option for people, especially since the advent of modern technology with the internet age and the file sharing and P2P and everything. It just reduced the strength of the gatekeepers completely.
PopularNobody.
So anybody could be independent if they had a computer and some drive,
Yeah,
so it's,
absolutely.
So it's a trip. I think you're right. Like the whole get down now in the industry is based off of what used to be the independent movement.
Check it out. This is Ariano, Popular Nobody Podcast, Episode 3. I'm with A+ of the legendary Hieroglyphics crew. We are going to take a break, bump some music. We'll be back and continue this conversation.
Popular Nobody.
Appreciate everybody out there taking the time to listen to this interview with A+ of Hieroglyphics. My name is Ariano. This is Popular Nobody Podcast 3. Right now we are going to get into the Hieroglyphics, Oakland, California.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sage. You're listening to Popular Nobody, and these are my songs of the week.
Everybody wants to be independent. Show them how.
Pyro, y'all. It's not a wrong thing to be addicted to the microphone like a heroin fiend. I'll tell you one thing, you never catch me fronting as I proceed to give the people what they want. You making some green, but not for glamour or fashion. I'm stacking cash until I can get moms a mansion. All from rapping. Nah, man, there's many plans like investing in land. It started all from impressing the fans with brand new flows. And you know, all the way from gangster clones to weirdos. Who's use those? But we ain't tripping, give respect when you see this. You need us or your rap's underdeveloped like a fetus.
Those that know not those, and it shows when we broke out the knock, hoes hopped out they clothes. That's positive feedback. Yup, the pros are poised. We never pose, you'll never know. From 93 till infinity, we've been inventive. Creating the bump is our only incentive, and it's been a long time since I feel I've been felt. But the only thing I fear is fear itself. So you know what we got to do? Maybe could we keep it within the group like it should be? Never giving out, we living out our dreams. If it's something I can't live without, that's my team, you never knew.
Hieroglyphics, hip-hop is vintage. Underground like silos, launching long-range ballistics. World renowned, we groundbreaking. Musical boundaries, running circles around MCs.
On to the next stage, while MCs need aid. Stay paid, I'm still great. Hey, none of that tomfoolery. As you can see, this shit ain't nothing new to me. Utterly hovering over other things material. You stuck in the here and now. Plus you're sweating profusely, here's a towel. Your fears are now reality when I take your dream states and elaborate on how your team's fake. Like phony IDs, but sometimes I feel like only I see through the charade you made in today. But hey, tomorrow is played, and then they got a new fool in your place to be okay.
Hieroglyphics, hip-hop is vintage, invented in days back, rekindling ways that many thought was lost. In this contemporary maze of methods to floss, we find trees and trails to blaze, boundaries to cross. We can be found beyond the bounds of reason, or earthbound, heating up the Coliseum.
They rush the stage full throttle in Chicago. Our brains interlock. We're faking MCs get caught with the 40 bottle or get they change snatched pronto. We unstoppable, dropping flows in Toronto, maneuvering through Vancouver and on to Japan, where they put major grands in my hand. Follow.
Straight from the heart we set apart from the resting. Our perfection on the microphone was predestined. World renowned, we groundbreaking. Musical boundaries, running circles around MCs.
Once again, this is Popular Nobody Podcast 3. That was the Hieroglyphics. We're going to get back into our interview with A+.
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with A+. This is Ariano, PopularNobody Podcast 3. I wanted to get back and kind of, for the people listening, kind of explain, your introduction with music just on a personal level, and then maybe your introduction to the music industry as well.
As far as my introduction into music, my parents, they're both from Jamaica, and they came here in the early 70s, and they shortly after that had myself and my sister. One of the things that they really were enamored about as far as coming to America was all the different kinds of music that they were exposed to in high volume once they got here. And I grew up in an environment to where they played every single kind of music. They had favorites in every genre, and that was regular life to them. So, people would come over my house and they'd be like, dude, your parents just play all kinds of stuff, like everything. I mean, I can't count a genre they didn't play. And also on top of that, my mom taught herself how to play the guitar and the piano. And she was already doing that by the time I was around and listening to music. We had a piano in the house, had a guitar in the house. My sister and I started taking piano lessons at a young age. And later in life, around I guess like 7th grade, I started taking guitar lessons. And throughout that whole time, the first time I ever heard hip hop at all was 1979. My dad brought it, he was like, oh, you're gonna love this song. It's like people saying poems over funk beats. He described it something like that. And he played Rapper's Delight to me, and I was just immediately hooked off of that. And so I was just had my ear to whatever kind of hip hop I could get my hands on from that point forward. And around when The Message came out, I think that was like 1982. That's when I fully decided I was going to be an MC, and one day I was going to be a rap star.
Me too. To me, that's still the most important hip hop song, in my opinion.
Absolutely. People have lived with hip hop so long now, and I always tell people that the generation I'm in is the last generation that knew a time when there was no hip hop, then there was. After that, every generation after that just lived with hip hop always there. So not to say that that's better or lesser. It's just a unique perspective. And, a kid would listen to hip-hop now and just, maybe not know the history and be like, this song is dope, and not know the exact history of how that style even came to be over the last 30-odd years or whatever. But going back to The Message, when I heard that song, there had never been a song like that, ever. There had never been a song that descriptive. One thing about hip-hop and rapping, the rapping aspect of hip-hop, is that, songs or singing songs, and blues and any kind of singing song, it's much more poetic. There's a vagueness to it that gives it the energy of its art. It's a different kind of language. Well, when hip hop came out, there had never been any kind of songs that were that straightforward and blatant, like somebody is just talking, like very descriptively. That kind of music had never existed. Where it was just so cut to the chase. This is exactly what I mean. Just The Message was a song like that for me. I just couldn't it was amazing to me that someone could do that in a song and paint such a vivid picture and emote so much. You know what I mean? So
show the world that social commentary was in hip hop.
Exactly.
And it was it was just still to this day, I feel like that's what I love about hip hop is the directness. I mean, yes, you can be abstract and you can paint it, it was a picture that they painted in that song, but it was also very direct, and it was very, they painted a picture, but they weren't cutting to the chase, and especially at that point in time where America, still doesn't, but even then doesn't want to cut to the chase and just talk about things directly and honestly. That song was just powerful,
Yeah, that song did it for me. I was like, I want to do that. And granted, I was already, fully hip hop fiended out. And back at this time, hip hop was not taken serious at all. And for many years after that, it was like, I remember people being like, it was because disco was kind of the thing that hip hop took out. If people look at the history, so the fall of disco coincided with the exposure of hip hop to the rest of the nation and the rest of the world, but it was not taken seriously at all, except for the people who really believed that it was something special, and that was a small group back then. It was like people did not take hip hop serious at all. It was crazy. It was like almost like a nerd club if you were really into it.
Yeah.
And so we were just, anybody who loved it, you had that in common with them. You could make friends over that. Like, oh, you listen to that stuff too? Like, I literally did make friends over that.
Oh, I think most of my young friends were made because I walked around with all my tapes on me.
Oh, you too?
Yeah, just with my tapes and with my boombox, of course, and yeah, that struck up a lot of conversations, and it also, is the physical version of a playlist. It was, showing people the different sides of you, you know what I mean? If you took it like that, yeah.
No doubt, yeah, I agree. Going into it later, just from hearing the message in '82 and just deciding I was going to be an MC, that just was my prime focus. I mean, granted, I got good grades and all of that. That was just so my dad would leave me alone. Like, I'm getting my grades, let me do what I want to do. Really, that's really was my motivation. I was good at school. That's how I got the name A+. So it wasn't really difficult for me. It was like, follow these directions, learn this stuff, done. Straight A's.
Awesome.
No big deal. So I didn't really get questioned about my extracurricular stuff, which was hip hop. I always told people I'm gonna be a rap star one day. Now I'm saying it because that's how I said it back then. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be a rap star. You wait and you see. And I was like saying that all the way up, and it was still kind of a joke to people up until 11th grade. And then people started being like, "Oh wow, man, y'all might actually be able to be rap stars one day." And by that time, crew had formed and stuff, and we ended up putting out my homeboy Dale. Yeah, I met him in the 1st grade. He was in the 3rd grade. For some reason, we just clicked. It was like hip hop, video games, and comic books, and computers. Because we were like the only 2 people. Me, him, and Tajay were the only 3 people we knew who had personal computers. Like, they weren't a part of a big deal back then. They were like almost like an expensive toy that people thought was useless. But my father was a computer dude, so that's how come we had one. And for some reason, Dale had one too. But anyway, so we had clicked up. Me and him clicked up, and also I met Tajay and Cash in 1st grade too. And so all things around it, Dale ended up, by the sheer stroke of life luck for us anyway. He ended up being Ice Cube's cousin. Like, I knew Ice Cube's cousin, but then he ended up being Ice Cube, and he was like, whenever he comes up, he's gonna put Dale on, and Dale said he's gonna put me and Tajay on whenever he got on. So that was just kind of like the dream. The oh shit part was when Ice Cube was like actually came out with a record, and this is I'm talking about. This is like CIA. I'm not even talking about like NWA yet. When he came out with CIA, I was already just like, oh my gosh, your cousin actually did come out with an album. Oh shit, you know what I mean? So that just started it all off, and along the lines, Sir Jinx, who was in the group with Ice Cube, ended up like taking Dale and me and Tajay and a couple other dudes under his wing and had a little crew. And we were in that crew. He actually almost got assigned to Ruthless Records back in the day. It was crazy, but that's a whole nother story. Me and Tajay as like a kid group. It's crazy. But yeah, so we just kept trying, and then, that stuff came through for Dale, and Dale was like, well, here's y'all chance. And, we took good advantage of it and ended up he put out his first album in 1991. I was still in high school. And we put out ours, and we got our record deal still in high school, and put out our first album in '93. And that was about.
Now, real quick, not to cut you off, but
no, you got it.
So at that time period, it's you and Dell, or you and the homies or whatever. Who is are you guys making tracks? What are you guys recording demos? What even allows? What is heard to even get in the door? And things like that. Are you making beats at that time, or what's going on with that?
Well, I didn't start making beats until I want to say eighth grade is when I first made my first beat. But before that, me and Tajay were a group, and Dell and this dude named Deshane was a group. Mm-hmm. And me and Tajay, we used to make songs I had this Casio SK1 keyboard that my mama got me, and we used to have a beatbox. We used to beatbox into a bowl for like reverb and record it into a boombox and take turns beatboxing for each other. And then I got the Casio, so we used to like make little beats in the Casio, but they weren't really beats. You couldn't make beats in it. It just had rhythms already in it. And then after that, we made our first like real songs with Sir Jinx. Adele had went down to over the summer and went down to Southern California and came back, and he was in the 9th grade, I was in the 7th, and he just had these songs, and he had like hell of them, like 5 of them. No, the first time he had 2, and then he went back again and he came back with 5 more, and we were like, oh shit. And then so we started going down there with him, and we recorded some songs, and we would drive to LA, like I would, whenever his mom was going, I'd ride down with him, and my dad was going because he had friends down there. We'd ride down with him. It was just like some crazy shit. But they were just kind of like just letting us be happy and do stuff. But they didn't think it was going to be serious. And we was making songs like that. And then when we couldn't get to LA so much, and this was like around 8th and 9th grade, we had a DJ, like we have somebody would make a beat on a little Dr. Rhythm or something, record that with scratching samples over it, and then we just like multiple record on the same tape. Like we do vocals on top of that, and then vocals, whatever on top of that, and we had these hitsy ass demos and shit. And then after that went on for a few years, and then we started recording stuff at this spot called the Onion Lab in Berkeley for like, it was a 4-track studio, and they had samplers in there. And there's a lot in there that it's hard for me to remember, but then we started making 4-track demos, and I got really good at mixing the 4-track demos and stuff. Yeah. And along that whole time, I just kept getting better at making beats. Like Dell was showing me how to make beats, and would let me use his SP12 and just like mess with it. And then Ice Cube ended up buying him an EPS, so we didn't have to go to the studio in a 4-track, and we didn't have to go to the studio in Berkeley no more. We was just at Dell House from then on. Just like I would just like be like stuck in his room just trying to make shit all the time.
We're going to take a break. We're going to go into some more music, and we'll be back with A+. This is Ariano, PopularNobody Podcast 3.
Daddy.
What's up?
What y'all know about E40?
Sitting up here marinating, just, tripping off how this life is, man.
Big ups to the Bay Area.
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
Just, some little crazy, some my feelings,
Let me hear it.
Let's go.
Why was I born in these trifling ass times? Why is it mandatory that I carry mines? Don't be too liberal, cause see white folks get jacked too. Doctors, high class lawyers, and even Japs too. You ask me why I speak the real the way I feel. How come we call bitches hoes and y'all call us niggeros? They wanna do me like they did Stacks. What is this young black man doing with off the scratch? I see some timers on the Yale track reading they mail, talking about I got white girl for sale. But they ain't talking to me, cause see I'm an oldie and they knows that. I used to be just like them, I tell them, I say y'all get that scratch. Magazine was never nothing like Bel Air. High speed shootouts and shit, but I loved it there. 40, where you been, player? It's been a while. Marinating, accumulating paper, pal. Y'all kinda doing it, huh? You still grinding? Hell yeah, you know them tapes you keep rewinding. Money ain't changed me, money changed the way people think about me. When I was broke, all I had was my family. You know what kills me though? Them fucking numbskulls. I hate when blacks be clowning blacks on all these talk shows. It's bad enough we shooting up each other tragically. 2 days ago they found some brother smothered badly. Nobody's to be trusted in this day and age. Too much jealousy and envy on the wrong page. And fuck the popos, cause that 39% tax I pay don't get me nothing but a chokehold and some pepper spray.
Still going on.
So is that what they do?
It's still bad.
It's crazy out there, huh?
It's all bad.
Talk to him.
Is it gonna be like this when I grow up?
It's all bad.
Daddy, sprinkle me with some more game.
E40.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. That's the prayer that I say, so spread the word. And if you're feeling down and out, read Proverbs. You know what, I've been tweaking off something strange. Starting to see a lot of women's at the shooting range. Domestic violence, but here's an old ghetto myth. My partner Zati's got her boyfriend with some hot grits. I'm from the G-E-double-T-T to the O, no. Well, only few dare to go.
I spit the game like a soldier. Tongue fools, I told you this. The rap keep it giant. 6 years old, vocalist. You don't wanna see me. Do it like I do that. All up in your talking face. I tell me tomorrow space like y'all be get up on it. The game is way too deep. I'm not your average shush. I be creeping while I sleep. Game, straight game. Get up on it, straight game.
It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad.
One of the first and the best to ever do it. Didn't wait on anybody or anything. Set up his own business model. E40. Yay area representative. Let's get back to this interview, y'all.
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
And we are back. My name is Ariano, Popular Nobody Podcast, episode 3. We are with A+. Before we left, we were kind of talking about your evolution of production and some of the demo processes and things like that. When did you guys know that this was a real opportunity, that this could be something real for you? More than just, obviously it sounds like you were driven at an early age and you knew what you wanted to do, but when did you feel like it could be real for you?
When I really felt like it was like really real and not just a dream, like, oh, this could actually, it's going down, it's finally gonna happen. We had like, we created a name for ourselves out here in the underground scene, and we had a lot of bad deals come our way, like really just shitty, crappy deals, real independent, local stuff, and that was whatever. And then when Dell's deal finally came through, with Ice Cube ended up leaving NWA, created his label Street Knowledge Records, and he came and signed Dell, and then he got Dell a deal with Elektra Records. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous, man, And
were
then
you guys already Hieroglyphics? Were you guys already a crew as Hieroglyphics and Souls of Mischief at that point?
We weren't Souls of Mischief yet. We weren't called Souls of Mischief yet. We were called around that time, like right before Dell's album came out. Maybe like a year before. We started being Hieroglyphics, like officially, and kind of started locking in the ranks, because there was a lot of people involved to higher or lesser degrees at that time, but it just really got really serious for certain people and not so serious for others. And when it got really when it was going down for Dell, we just kind of closed the ranks, And what happened was Dell had an opportunity to put us on a song, on a B-side of one of his singles, and it was something he insisted on, and basically he was like, this is what I could do for y'all. This is y'all opportunity. So, because it wasn't like he was running the show over at Street Knowledge. I mean, he was doing his thing and everything, but he wasn't like. He couldn't just be like, put my friends on this and have us all over the record, and
what
there were
was
none
the
of us.
B-side for?
The B-side, I believe it was for Mr. Dabalina, and it was called, and the song was called Burnt, and it had Casual, myself, Tajay, and Opio on it, as well as Dell. And then back at that time, a down the line song for a posse was just like mandatory.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you were a crew, that Down the Line song was a big deal, and also B-sides were a big deal at that time too, especially for progressive hip hop. And so he was like, "This is your chance." And I remember we were actually in high school at the time, and we had to get permission from our parents to record overnight in the studio in Richmond. And we like packed our clothes for school the next day and went straight to school from the studio. It was like really some weird stuff for us at the time. Like, you know, I think like, you know, it was crazy anyway.
Well, especially at that time, because not everybody's like these days. Everybody's a rapper. Everybody's going to the studio. At that time, I'm sure it's obviously.
Oh, you was a weirdo.
Feeling.
Yeah, you was a weirdo back then. If you were going to the studio, people would laugh at you and be like, "Oh, you rappers, you gonna waste your life away." Yeah, and that really was the air at the time. It wasn't like everybody's a rapper now, and people would make fun of you for being a rapper back then. Even unless you was like super dope, you know. And even if you was super dope, there was still people that was like, you might be dope, but you're wasting your life away, because nobody believed nothing could happen from it back then. It just wasn't popular to be a rapper at all. And so yeah, we spent the night at the studio. We made the song Burnt. When it came out, it really took off. You know, people were like, "Oh, who are these guys?" You know, and so the A&R label started, and Dell's album did well too. So A&R started being like, "Well, Dell, who are your friends?" And then he was like, "Well, this is your chance." And at some point, there's some A&Rs coming to town, and you know, this is a long story, but we ended up making these demos, and we just really put our nose into these demos, and we did like 2 rounds of demos for these companies that were into us, and that led into like label bidding wars and stuff like that. Like, you know, just kind of all happened really fast after that. And you know, next thing you know, we were making a record. You know,
well, it's dope, you know, and as a fan, as you know, somebody who I remember very vividly about, you know, when the Dell album dropped. At the time, Ice Cube, well, he still is, you know, was just. I think at that time he probably was my favorite rapper. I mean,
yeah, he was that dude at that time. Dude, he was killing it,
bro. And just the balance between just the so-called street shit with consciousness, and I mean, Serge Inks' production on those albums, man, and just, you know, I think which album is Steady Mobbin'?
That's the second one. The second album.
That's like I think that's my favorite Ice Cube album. Yeah, and it's
I mean,
but
those first two.
But like what was so dope was also, you know, me being from SoCal, but my dad, you know, being born in Oakland, and a lot of his family, a lot of my family being in the Bay, I always felt like with the hip hop that had come out to that point, we hadn't seen different sides, you know, of the culture. We hadn't seen the only Bay Area side, you know, at least from the outside perspective, was like Too Short, you know, and you know, and E40 and things like that. And then so it was just so dope, and it was surprising that Ice Cube put out an artist like Dell, because he was so different. But my point is if you had been to the Bay and you had any roots or connection there, like, it totally made sense to me, because you guys embodied the Bay, which is, in my opinion, a little bit of everything. So many different influences where most of the movements have started, you know. And so it was just dope, man, as a fan too. When you guys came out, it was refreshing and it was new, and especially for the West Coast, I feel like you guys helped show a balance, you know, of what the West was. It wasn't just Ice Cube, and it wasn't just Too Short. And you know, and at the time, not to keep going, but it was like they tried to call it Backpack, or maybe it was it's more East Coast type. But for me, it was just like a real reflection of the Bay, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I agree, man. And the thing about that, what happened was, it was, first of all, when NWA and them blew up, you know, the time we're talking about, like, a lot happened in a very short amount of time. You know, NWA came out, and there was this industry label, Gangsta West Coast Gold Rush. You know, all the labels saw how much money was being made off of this, and they came out here and tried to sign up anything. I mean, they didn't know nothing about it, but they came out here and tried to sign up anything going, and they got a lot of good stuff. But what I'm saying is, what it made the rest of the world think is that that's what West Coast hip hop was, and that's it. And even though that is an aspect of West Coast hip hop, and probably the first one really fully put out there to the rest of hip hop listeners in the world, there's a lot more going on here. I mean, you know, just how, that's how our culture is anyway. It's not just one way, just like how you just said. So, you know, I guess we came in, we were around the time, and we're not the only group that were on that, but like, you know, for representing us.
Far Side, I mean,
us Far Side, you know, Freestyle Fellowship. You know, there's always been a lot going on out here. It was just never shown. And you know, the world just really thought that that's all it was out here, because that's all they were hearing from what the labels were putting out. And you know, Q putting Dell out, and then, you know, some other groups too. But that really showed that we had other stuff. And what's funny about that is Q.
Real quick, it's one thing to like put out your cousin, but it's another thing for him to be dope and for his crew to be dope. Because if not, it's just you trying to like show your cousin love, you know. So it was, it was pretty trippy. And Cube was like, his thing was like, he was like, they're gonna be my digital underground. Like that was his template, kind of. Cause Dale was already on some funk shit. Like that's been Dale's thing. You know, he's always been he's the funk dude. He always been like that. And Cube was really like, you know, you're gonna be my digital underground. So and digital underground's from the Bay. So that's just trippy in itself. And you know, that goes to show too that you could tell the difference between, and I love all of Dale's albums, but just for conversation, you could tell the difference between his first and his second albums. Like his first one was, you know, like the Wish My Brother George Was Here, and the second one he had a lot more control over, and it was, you know, he was flowing more like, you know, extra, you know, a little bit more like Dale, you know, psychedelic flow, you know what I mean? And he had more control over the music, and it had, you know, noticeably more of a what would we call a hieroglyphic sound now, you know. But it was trippy, and it was a big deal for out here in the Bay, you know, because we had a scene out here, and we had you know, it was a scene that all the people into hip hop. There's other crews out here like Board Stiff and all of that, and we all knew each other. And there wasn't really too many places to go, so we'd all see each other at any hip-hop events out here. And it was just like the small club was getting bigger, you know. We'd have successful events. And we were just kind of like the first group out of here on that vein of hip-hop, Bay Area hip-hop, to get some exposure. And it was like, you know, it was a big deal for everybody that had been down doing it before that out here. It was a trippy time when I think about it. But yeah, man, it's been a trip. That is awesome, man. We are going to come back more with A+, and we are going to talk about something called 93 Till. We will be back. This is Popular Nobody Podcast, Episode 3.
Let's keep it in the Bay Area. This is an artist by the name of Mystic.
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
This song could come out right now, still be relevant. Timeless music. No gimmicks, no genres.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sage. You're listening to Popular Nobody, and these are my songs of the week.
Who does see the twisted shadows fall and capturing minds? Well, here's a youth call from my block niggas to suburban kids. I know this world weighs heavy on your low set lids. This is for dark nights and sharp blades, for mountains of pain in your tear-stained face. This is for every time they beat you, every time they lied, every time you suffered, every time you cried. This is for broken dreams, shattered with precision, misunderstood visions, lives christened in prison. Dismiss them, you were never meant to understand. Tag on every wall and kiss the sky when you can. Fan formation, work them. They'll trace the outline of your soul when you desert them. Cause they don't know the trouble that you've seen. Who cares tonight? Life is gonna be okay. Oh, that's right. Alright. Free your mind. Okay. If only for the night, it's gonna be okay. Okay. Alright. reggae's this is slow silent death while breathlessly await for the world to fall. It's not gonna happen if you hemmed against the walls of your own design. They cross all space and time. Who caused division? Who drew the lines? Finding it hard to breathe. Got bruises on the knees from praying to leave. Please, conceiving ways to escape the venom. The biggest fight is for your life, is for the next gen. Defend them, the rules bend them, cause they gon' keep pretending. Every breath you take is worthless. All endings, no beginnings. Bells ringing. No need to re-braille. You shall prevail.
Okay, alright. Free your mind. If only for the night. Gonna be okay, alright. You don't have to fight tonight. They don't know the trouble that you're seeing. Cuts for luck and scars for freedom. They will never feel your pain, so you'll defeat them. World in your eyes, ready to fly. You must make it through the next day. Defeat them.
Feeling used and abused, quite confused. It's really all about you and the way you wanna move. Those chains that seem to bind you, let me remind you, the power's in the people. Every moment's perfect timing. You visualize death, now visualize your life. You looked into the dark, now look into the light. Look into the light.
Cause they don't know the trouble that you've seen, and who cares tonight? Life is gonna be okay, alright. Free your mind. If only for the night, it's gonna be okay.
We are the ones
Let your light
that we have been waiting for.
You shall prevail.
That was Mystic. We're living in an era, y'all. The gatekeepers are falling. We have these old ways of thinking that they're fighting to stay alive. That way of thinking that put people in boxes, that labeled music with genres, that separated people with religions and races, man. They know that it's trouble. We are all better in person. And I think no matter who you are or where you are in this world, you know that this is a critical time for who we are as people. Straight up. You can turn up all you want. But right now, we're going to get back to this interview with A+.
Popular Nobody Podcast, Episode 3. We are on the Wake the Flokup Network. We are here with A+ of Souls of Mischief and the Hieroglyphics crew. I wanted to, let's just go into a song to me that is, you know, I'm sure that you've talked about this a lot, but I still feel like it's a story that, you know, needs to be shared. Every 4 years, there's a new generation out there. Talk about making the track 93 Till and how, you know, before we talk about the impact of that, just talk about how you made the track and what the process of that was.
Okay. First off, I want to say, well, one way I used to dig for samples back in the day is, you know, I bought every hip hop album that came out. I was just that dude. I went to the store every Tuesday and would see what was out. And I would read the sample credits, like, because you had to, you know, if somebody sampled somebody, you had to clear them because people get sued out the ass back at that time. So you really had to give a big skrill, a big part of your budget to clear samples if you were a sampler, or if your group used samples in their beats or whatever. So I saw that on Step in the Arena album. You know, I looked through all the Premier samples. I saw, you know, he had the Billy Cobham Crosswinds album sample for another song. I can't remember the name of the song that he sampled for Gangstar, but Damn, I could remember if I really sat and thought. But so I went to the, you know, I kept it in my mind, if that album ever pops up, I'm gonna buy it immediately. I felt like I was kind of ahead of the game for where I was at the time. So I didn't tell nobody I did that, but I used to always come up with the sickest samples for doing that for quite a few years, just in the, you know, around the people I was around. But so I found the album in like the dollar bin, dude, for like 99 cents. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna check this shit out. And I had some other Billy Cobham albums, and you know, I was kind of judging, like, you know, I never heard this one. It's a little later, blah blah blah. It might be, you know, there's a certain time when certain artists started having a different sound than what you wanted to sample, but blah blah blah. So I took it. So anyway, we were working on 93 Till, the album, and we hadn't called it 93 Till yet, but we were going to the studio out in Hyde Street. We go in there like in the mornings around noon, and then we leave, and I would come home and make beats, and I'd go the next morning, go to the studio. We had been working on the album. We were like more than halfway done with it, and I was like, went home, started making some beats. I put on that album, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe nobody had sampled this ever. And I used to sample on 45 because I didn't have a lot of sample time. So I would play my records on 45 as a habit, and then of course I would slow them down and listen to them for real, but I would play them first on 45. And I put that one on, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm just gonna make a beat out of it. I made the beat out of it. I liked it. I was like, oh, this is dope. I wasn't really like, oh my God, I found something. It wasn't even like that. For some reason, you know, I used to always hook up with Pep. I don't know if we were living together at the time, or if we just lived around the corner and when we hooked up for the studio. It's hard for me to remember. But I remember playing him the beat and being like, this would be dope for you. You would kill this. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, word, thanks, that's dope. And then we went to the studio and stuff. And then I guess we were at the studio.
Were you guys already a crew? I mean, were you guys already Souls of Mischief at this point?
Yeah, we were Souls of Mischief at this point. Dante Ross, he wanted to sign us, but he was one of the people who wanted to sign us. And he was like, I really hella recommend you guys change your name. And we had an older school name, you know what I'm saying? And it was basically, we had the name from when it was just me and Tajay. And then I got Opio into the group. And we still had the same name. And then I got Festo into the group, and we still had the same name. But we were all the members of Souls of Mischief at that time. But the name, Dante was like, y'all gotta change that shit. It's just like, it's not gonna work. And we were like, damn. So then I came up with the name Souls of Mischief. We brainstormed for a long time trying to come up with a name. I came up with Souls of Mischief one day, and then that was it. And it was with a Z at first, and then we took the Z out. So
now at the time,
we took the Z out before we came out.
Is at the time Dell is out, you guys are on the B side, and things are moving for him while you're working on 93 Till?
Nah, we weren't even working on 93 Till yet. When we were working on 93 Till, he was working on No Need for Alarm. Okay. So that's how much time had passed. Like us getting our demos together and getting the deal, and you know, the months and months it took to negotiate the shit. That's what was happening for us. And Dell was like touring and, you know, out with Cube and just doing that shit. You know, he actually flew me and Opio out to Chicago while we were in high school for the Dabalina video, just to have some homies in it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that must have been, motivation for you, man.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
You know,
I was like, man, my soul was aching, bro. Like, I was like, we so close. Like, after all these years, like, we this fucking close, you know what I mean? And we'd be around Dell, and everybody'd be like, oh, Dell, and he'd be like, these my homeboys. She'd be like, yeah, whatever, Dell, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, I'm so close, I can't wait, you know what I mean? I cannot wait. It was so crazy. But yeah, I gave the beat to Pep, then we was in the studio, and at the end of the studio, Matt Kelly, our engineer, he told us that we finished ahead of schedule. We had a few more hours and a little bit of space on the reel that was up if anybody had a beat. And so I was like, I got some beats, man, but, I got this one, it's kind of dope. I gave it to Pep, and I got some other shit too. And then I played some beats, and I played 93 Till, and they were like, everybody was like, yo, what the fuck, dude? You gotta take that shit back from Pep immediately, you know? And I was like, and it was really a thing. They were like, dude, you can't just be giving away beats while we're working on our first album, blah, blah, blah. And it actually started a rule to where if we working on an album, I gotta play whatever beats I'm making to the group first. It was like never no rule before that. And I was like, okay, alright, you know what I'm saying? And so I took the beat back from Pep, but he never really done anything with it. It was only like a day or something.
Well, it wasn't a big song, you know what I mean? At that time, it was probably like, okay.
Yeah, he was like, no problem. He was like, no problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was like, I ain't even had a copy of it to sit down and play it to get to like it, so whatever. And then we recorded the song, and I remember we had a song called 91 Till Infinity that we were working on in 91. And I made the beat for that. Yeah, it was like a whole different beat. It was more of like I still remember the sample. It had a Crusader sample.
Now, was that your concept, the 91 till the 93?
Yeah, absolutely.
And where did that come about? I mean, it's like word sound power. By you saying that, it became, you know, it's still out there.
I was the idea dude for the clique. I don't even know. My brain was always working. I was like, we gonna do a song called this, and here's the beat. We gonna do a song called that, and here's the beat. You know what I'm saying? We gonna grab this beat and make this song over it. And I was just, I was just a kid, just thinking of shit, you know? I was like, we gonna rock forever, 96. And I think 91 Till Infinity was more like a friendship song, you know what I mean? Like, if I remember correctly, it's like, we gonna be friends forever, some shit like that. It was kind of like, had this somber piano that was really uplifting.
93 felt like you guys had good tree in the air. You guys were...
Oh, there was definitely good tree in the air.
Maybe a little older and, you know, just ready to see the world.
Yeah, I mean, that beat was just like, there was nothing else to talk about on it but fun, you know? It just felt fun, you know? Like, we kicking it, like, and we really was just chilling, and after we made the song and all of that, we was like, yeah, okay, let's do 93 Till Infinity. Because everybody had remembered the song 91 Till Infinity that we never recorded, and...
Did that ever come out?
Nah, it never got recorded. It was just a beat I had. I remember I had written a rap. I think Press wasn't even in the group yet. I think Tasha might have had a rap or something, but it just one of them songs that just never came to fruition. And I just I rehashed the idea. Like, just, hey, what about 93 Till Infinity? Remember that one 91 Till Infinity? They was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And after we made the song, when it was done and we played it, then we were like, oh shit, I think we might, you know, this could be one of them ones, you know, and that was that. And the funniest thing about it too is that our label was hella hype on Cab Fare coming out, and when the sample didn't get cleared, they were hella disappointed. And then when they heard 93 Till Infinity, they wasn't disappointed no more. They was kind of like, okay, y'all replaced Cab Fare. We're happy with you guys again. It was some real label shit.
Now, real quick, I don't know if you were hinting at this. Now, did you mess with that record because you saw that it had already gotten cleared, that Primo had gotten cleared? Were you thinking like, okay, well, this is something that I could possibly get cleared, type of thing?
Nah, I wasn't thinking that far. Okay. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I can't say that didn't cross my mind, but my main motivation was that Primo sample was dope shit. You know, everything he sampled was dope. Gangstar was one of my favorite groups at the time. I was an up-and-coming producer, and I felt like I was ahead of the game, like looking for samples by seeing who cleared what. And I just found one, you know. And another thing is I learned about artists that I didn't know about, you know, and I bought whole catalogs from artists.
Man, me too. Why? Man, the credits, man. I don't know if this is just a high thought or whatever, but I don't know why, you know, there's not a tab that drops down on any of these music.
Ridiculous, right?
A digital credit tab. You hit the button and the credits come down. I mean, it's really simple. I don't understand like why that's not there, because to me, that helped me put pieces together of music, of who was working, where they recorded, who played bass. We grew up knowing who played bass on records.
Exactly,
you know
bruh.
So,
Every instrument. You know who did the tambourine. You would know who did the tambourine on a Grace Slick song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just, anybody
I miss that
listening,
too.
make a digital credit. I don't know the language, but if we can create all this other shit, we can let people know the credits. It's really simple.
It's crazy. It's like microwave culture. It's almost like people don't even want to know how it happened. It's like there's amazing things you find out in the credits. And we grew up watching them shit.
But you know what? That's why hopefully, doing things like this, we can help blend the stories. Let's go into 93 Till. I want everybody to turn this up, and we are going to come back with A+. This is Popular Nobody, episode 3.
Hieroglyphics, Soldier Mischief.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sage. You're listening to Popular Nobody.
It's a feeling.
And these are my songs of the
We're
week.
just maxing in the studio. We're hailing from East Oakland, California, and sometimes it gets a little hectic out there. But right now, we gonna up you on how we just chill.
Dial the 7 digits, call up Bridget, her man's a midget. Plus he got fringe, yo, I can dig it. Here's a 40 swigget, you know it's frigid. I got him chilling in the cooler, break out the moolah. Damn, that's the fattest dog I ever seen. The weather's keen in Cali, getting weed, it makes it feel like Maui. Now we feel the good vibrations. So many females, so much inspiration. I get inspired by the blunts too. I'll front you. If you hang with a punk crew, I roam the strip for bones to pick. When I find one, I am gun. Take her home and quickly
I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to Popular Nobody. Once again, we got A+. My name is Ariano. Let's get back into it.
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with A+. Tell me, you know, I think some of the most powerful songs are just when you're just making them, and you're not, you know, in that story you talked when you talk about making the song, there's no references of like, yeah, man, this one's gonna make us famous. It's just like you're just making songs and not know, you know, the unknown to me is what's special. Was it like a slow burn on that song when it was complete and you turn it into the were you guys signed at that point? Who gets that record when it, you know, after it's done? What's the process with that?
You mean the album 93 Till Infinity?
Yes.
Well, you know, we recorded it out here. We finished recording it out here at Hyde Street Studios in Frisco. We mixed it at Battery Studios in New York, which was owned by Jive. You know, so they had us spending but I mean, it was a dope studio. Don't get me wrong, but it was just a trip that we ended up mixing, giving the money right back to them. It's just funny when I think about it. But and they even charged us for the fruit on the table, boy. It was crazy. But yeah, so we mixed it there, and we had Bob Powers mastered, I think. I believe. Dope. I don't want to be wrong about that, and I should know that, but it was so long ago. But yeah, and after that, you know, the label got it. They did the setup. They had these super high hopes, and they really kind of screwed it up. And I'm not saying that because that's what artists say. We had people people loved us up at the label. You know, they was like, oh, these kids, all this energy, you know, and you know, with West Coast kids out there, it's a brand new thing. You know, it was just hella intriguing to East Coast people to meet West Coast people like us. It was just a trip because we were so West Coast and stuff, but it was like. Anyway, they loved us up at the label. So when shit went bad, there was people at the label like, yo, man, they are up here fucking y'all shit up, and there's nothing I can do about it. I just want to let y'all know that, like, you know, we're sorry. And on behalf of what's going on here, there was just like so many major balls dropped in the release of our album, and it still did really well. But it was supposed to do a lot better.
Did the single come out before the album?
You know, to be quite honest with you, there so much shit went wrong. I know there was problems with the singles and the timing, and there was wrongs with the press and the timing. The first like 100,000 copies of our album or something like that had all kind of misprints on them. Like like side A and side B had the same song listing, and our thanks were all mixed up. It was so crazy. It looked like the first person I think was Dinko D. It was just some crazy shit. They just completely I mean, it was a shit show. I couldn't even tell you everything that went wrong. It was a complete...
Well, what was the reception from fans, from people on...
People loved our shit.
The album.
People loved that shit. Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul picked us to go on tour with them, and the label at first said no, which was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a little known fact. The label at first said no, and Q-Tip and De La and them and Tribe could vouch for that. The label at first was like no, and then finally it was like, I think Q-Tip and them raised the fuss for us, you know what I'm saying? And we ended up going on tour with them because they requested us, you know, like people was loving our shit.
Which fit? Hello.
It was crazy. It was like a fucking dream. It was a trip, and it's just really I think I put a lot of the stuff out of my head as far as like what went bad with the label, but it was a complete shit show, bruh. Completely dropping of the ball, and almost it was so bad that we would like think that it was sabotage. There was so much shit going wrong. It was crazy.
But what about, you know what? And I'm sure you could go on about that. What about the people's response though? And like as far as like when that's, you know, when 93 Till, you know, comes on.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So was that Because now, okay, what I'm trying to say is like, so now that song comes on. I don't care if you're in Europe. I don't care if you're in Brooklyn. I don't care where you're at. That is one of those songs that even the younger generation, they get a feeling for it. So was that something that was like, did that happen at the first show? Was that like after the tour, after the video? Like when did that start becoming that, you know?
It was instant, bruh. That shit happened immediately. Like there was a time when we were really young and green in our career, and we wanted to do newer songs, and there was even like something going on in the Souls. I was never a part of it, to be honest, but about like not doing 93 Till no more at the shows, because people just we almost got like tired of it. Like, oh my God, did you hear any of the other songs? Like, just on some dumb kid shit, bro. You gotta remember, we was
now y'all are saying, yeah. No, I feel you. Now y'all are like, hell yeah.
And then there was a couple times we tried to do the remix instead of the original, and people were like disappointed. They're like, your show was dope, but you got to do that song. And then after that, we just always do it, and now we love doing it. But I mean, and have for a long time, but it just. Back then on some real stupid kid stuff. I'm almost kind of ashamed when I think about it. But I'm not ashamed of the fact that I wasn't really agreed to it, because I made the beat, so I was kind of biased. I was like, we should always do it. But
well, when you're young, you don't realize that the music has will live longer than you. You know, so
there's no way to tell.
You know?
There's no way to tell. I mean, at that point in time, it's not even the kind of thing to think about. Like, what is your shows, your fan base going to look like in 20 years? It's just like inconceivable for a kid that age to even have that much foresight. We were just in the moment and just like having fun with it, and we were thinking about the next year and the next record for a minute, and that really didn't change until we went independent, when we started Hieroglyphics and Period, when we really started, like, you know, I think it was the business of it all really started making us think about longevity, you know.
Well, check it out. That's a perfect segue. We're gonna go into some more music, Popular Nobody, Episode 3, and we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up the show, and we're going to talk about the transition of going independent and, you know, catching up on where you are now. This is Popular Nobody.
Let's keep it going. Let's see who knows about some classic Bay Area hip hop. This is Mac Mall. My Opinion. Popular Nobody.
What's up? Drop some dope.
Let's go. Welcome to the Bay.
Welcome to Popular Nobody.
My name is Young Mac Mall, and this is my opinion. And since I got your attention, there's some shit I would like to mention. Fucking punk ass rollers, them highway type of strollers. Cause they be running the bus to big fat cats and get up soldiers. I guess they wanna fold us, but see, we won't just have that. Because I'm from the streets in 93 and play us bus back. I might just be a dead man, because I speak rebellion. The way that Malcolm X and Dr. King, there ain't no telling. The government, they hating me, but still I pack 380. That's why I go for back, cause Uncle Sammy never paid me. Still they try to fade me. And today's a payday. I'm standing in the cuts, fucking it up with my AK. 47 ways, young black brothers won't behave. And since I'm stressed, I'm on the quest to pitch them in they grave. I'm trying to go to school, but the system wasn't having me. So say it's technicality, but this is just reality. In 1992, you know how crazy I was feeling. My name is Young Mac Mall, and this is my opinion. 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 And this is my opinion. I had to set up shop, but it ain't right that I be dealing. The ghetto type of feeling, the drug money and killing. I'm still gonna play a style, and it's gonna make me $1 million. I'm trying to live very happily, but fools be wanting to cap with me. That's why I better my code is something dope that I be packaging. It's done to be a tragedy on your whole family. So call them punk police, them little pussies can't even handle me. You might think I'm a criminal, but this is not subliminal. I'm trying to spit that knowledge to my folks, but you don't hear me though. Some might think I rock gang bus, but all I want is justice. In my chest to get on the mic and speak to these hustlers. And if you like the realness, you might think it's appealing. My name is Young Man Marmain, and this is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion.
Haha, yeah, nigga, that's that shit, though. You motherfuckers need to hear the shit he spit, though. But you don't hear it, though. You got some little punk motherfuckers, man. He spitting that real crass-eyed, Sawyer Street player type shit, man. Motherfuckers, I don't give a fuck, and I'm in this shit, man. Haha, bitch, bitch, bitch.
Now I got my chance to speak my opinion freely. They need to fit on blindfolds cause these fools don't wanna see me. I'm popping like a preemie. Sometimes I wear a beanie. It's on like I told you cause the doja got me dreamy. When fools be perpetrating, it's causing me frustration. And there's no hesitation in the sense of assassination. Make all it just a youngster, hustler, thugster. But if you people dope ass rap fool, I'ma plug ya. And the motherfuckers, the brothers, it's from another planet. They must don't understand it, how they take their life for granted. So tell me, can you really fuck with this young buck? I take you on the ride in the trunk, tied up and with luck.
Yeah.
Maybe they can find you and sign you off as a lost
Mac Mall.
Breathing if you live, make dibs on the wood.
My
box.
opinion.
I be kicking a rock shit and don't sport the dreadlocks.
Might be a little too hard for some of y'all.
Make more, man, and this is my opinion.
But man, if you can handle me playing James Taylor, you can handle some Mac Mall. Straight up. This is Popular Nobody. My name is Ariano. We're going to get back to our interview with A+, a Soulja Mischief, Hieroglyphics, Bay Area representative. Let's go.
And we are back. Episode 3. We are with A+. Right before we ended the last segment, you were talking about going independent. How many projects had you put out, and what was the timing around when you guys made that transition?
Soulja Mischief had put out an album in 1993 and an album in 1994 or 5, like this, around there. We put out 2 projects with Jive Records. Cash put out 1 album, Fear Itself, with Jive Records, and Dale put out 2 records with Elektra, which my brother George was here, and No Need for Alarm. And there was a shift in the industry around the time. And it, long story short, like Jive turned into a pop label, and they told us, they were like, we're shaving the whole hip hop thing. We're gonna keep a couple people like Too Short, UGK, and some other people. But we're gonna completely shave and kind of shift our paradigm to a pop label. And then they were like, well, now you guys have to do some pop stuff. And their example was like at the time, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince had Boom Boom Shake the Room. And that they were like, you got to make some stuff like that, or else we not rocking with y'all. And we were like, no, we're not gonna do that. They was like, well, we'll shelf you if you don't. We were like, well, shelf us then. And then that's when we made our second album. And then subsequently, everybody got dropped from their labels. But to really add on to the Soulja Mischief point, we had been asking to leave. We was like, yo, we make hip hop. That's what we do. Now you're asking us not to do that. We delivered a dope album that you guys screwed up, and now you're asking us to be pop artists, and that's not what we do. And we can't win here. Why don't you just let us go? And they didn't. And then they tried to shelf our second album, which still did well. It wasn't as critically received as the first one, but it still did well.
Okay, but they did allow it to come out.
Yeah, they did allow it to come out with like no promotion, and we had 1 video, no promotion, and that was it. Like they really did kind of tried to shelf us. And they finally let us go after a long time. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we got the fax to let us go on April 1st, which is, I think, really crazy.
Well, back in the day, that can be sometimes worse than being shelved, because they basically try and put you out there so the next time you get a deal, your numbers are off. You know?
Yeah, you know what's
like,
you know
like
what's
it's like
funny?
a fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't know, like back then when you got dropped from a label, you like the sense was that your career was over. That's how the world looked at you. It was like, yeah, going independent after that was a graveyard back then. You know, people were like, it's over for you. People wouldn't take you serious. You couldn't get the same doors open. And actually, we had some offers from some majors still after we left Jive, because they kind of knew that Jive fucked us, you know. But we were like so disgusted with the process that we were like, nah, we're done. Like, what can we do? And we had always had a thought to one day do a Hyro Crew album after everybody got solo stuff out, but it kind of got fast forwarded, and Domino was like, man, let's just start our own company. And we were like, okay. And Domino really spearheaded that.
Who'd you guys look to as an example? Like, you know, like who?
We didn't have one. We didn't have one. We did not even. We did not have no example.
Because this is before Atmosphere, right? This is before Rhymesayers, right? This is before Tech Nine, and you know, and this is what maybe Boot Camp Click. Maybe Boot Camp Click would be like the only.
I don't even think Boot Camp Click was a label yet at that point.
I think you're right. But they were still, for sure.
But when we started making the label, it was 95, and even though some of these labels might have been out, they weren't on our radar as labels that was out to look for as a template. Like, we didn't. So I'm not saying that they weren't already in operation, but when we were doing our thing, we were strictly just on the fly completely. You know, again, Domino spearheaded the whole thing, and we were just all down with it, formed the LLC. Our attorney at the time, Michael Ashburn, like, took care of all of that. Our engineer, Matt Kelly, comped a bunch of studio time for us because we didn't really have the bread to do it. So, yeah, we just went indie, and then the album took off, man. The album went, and we started.
I feel like you guys got bigger independently.
Absolutely.
Or you solidified your, you like sifted through all like the fans that you might get with big marketing, and like what was left was your core audience, you know?
Absolutely. One thing I got to add on to that too is that we were the absolute first group with a website selling merch, and that was like, because we had this we had this one super techie fan named Stinky, shout out Stinky, and he just on his own, he was like a super tech dude back in like 94 or 95, and he started a website on his own, like a Hyro website, and Tajay, and remember, people didn't have the internet back then, only colleges at this point. No one did. They didn't have internet service in people's houses yet. Like, the only people who really had it was on a large level was colleges. So people in college were privy to the internet. Tajay was in college at the time, and he found this site. I don't remember exactly how. He just searched hieroglyphics or whatever. So we made the site. He hooked up with him. We made the site official, and we started reaching out to our fans that way. Now, as the internet, the presence of people on the internet started growing, we were right there with it. So that was like, we were direct to our market at the time. We made a lot of money off the internet, and we got our distribution deals that way, and it just kind of took off from there. And you know,
it's before the crash, right? So like when
way before
the independent dough. I mean, because like, you know, we had started a label called Technicality Sound, and you know, we definitely paid attention to you guys and other heads. And man, like those independent checks were crazy.
Oh my goodness, bro!
If you
like,
sold
millions of dollars, literally, bro.
You sold 20,000 independently, bro. It's like, and then you're touring, man. It's like, fuck, a major, you know.
Oh, that's another thing too. Yeah. Like, well, we hooked up with Peter Schwartz at the time, and it was like lightning in the bottle for the independent thing, because we started booking tours, and he made this new routing, which is like the regular routing now, but back then. None of those venues had been messing with hip hop at all, and they had just kind of opened their doors to independent hip hop. And
now, what route was that?
I mean, the nationwide route that ended up being the route that every other rapper took, and it's still kind of there, but it's like, you know, it's a little bit different now. because it kind of got burnt out. But Peter Schwartz from yeah, you know what I mean, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like that shit got turned. But like when we were first doing them tours back then, it was brand new water. A lot of these venues were taking their first chance on hip hop. Most of them was all like punk and rock clubs, and those tours were extremely successful, you know. And it was a trip that how a lot of like first time stuff lined up. I remember when we were touring, we took like Living Legends on their first tour. Like they were like bubbling out here. Yeah. And we basically introduced them to our audience. And shout out to Living Legends, them all my folks. But yeah, they went on tour with us, and then it was off to the races after that. You feel me?
Yeah, they're like a tree from. I mean, they're like a branch from your guys' tree for sure.
Yeah, love them dudes, man. Love them.
Yeah,
it was pretty crazy. So yeah, the independent shit until the crash, you know. Yeah, that was good, man. And then you know now it's just that they had that industry scramble where now it's all 360 deals for the major artists. And, you know, you gotta really grind hard if you're indie. You gotta do it.
Yeah, and well, what's great, I mean, and I'm, you know, obviously it's work. It's not like, but I think it's super key that, you know, as the industry changes, because things are going to change, the way we consume media changes. Man, as long as you guys water, you know, your fan base correctly, you guys, I think, are going to be a part of hip-hop forever. You know, I really believe that. And it's because...
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. And, yeah, man, I'm thankful for the music that you guys put out, man. What is, you know, years later, obviously, you guys are still doing it. I checked out... When did the last Souls of Mischief project come out? Was that 2015 or 2015?
That was 2014. It's 50 now. It was 2014. Yeah. There Is Only Now with Adrian Young. Yeah, that was a lot of fun making that. I learned a lot from that dude, man. He's amazing.
Man,
Thank you too. Thank you, my man.
Yeah, and I saw it live in Austin at South by. My director homie went to high school with Adrian. They're good buddies, and it was some Absolute Vodka sponsored thing in Austin.
Oh yeah, that thing.
That was a great show, man. Great show. I think who else was playing? I think Ali Shaheed Muhammad.
Yeah. They had the one that had the outside tent and the inside spot as well.
Yeah. Free vodka.
Yeah, free vodka. Like there were so many bottles. I literally took like about 4 of the big bottles home out the back. They just had so many bottles back there. It was crazy.
Well, real quick for the people that you know, so people are like, what are y'all talking about? What's dope about the project, you know, you guys do with Adrian Young. If you guys, you know, while you're listening to this, Google Adrian Young, man. This dude is like the new Quincy Jones. I don't know. I hate.
Yeah,
you just gotta check him out. But the show, even the detail of the presentation of whenever he's on stage, whether it's with you guys or whatever, but it's just. He creates a vibe to where just that night, if you were there, yes, it was a hip hop, but it was like, it wasn't grown up. It was just fly. It was like the stage show, the band, and just the way he presented that album with you guys. This was like showed you guys in the light you should be. And it was just fly. It was dope.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm really glad to have been a part of that, man.
What was that like? What was the last album you guys had put out as Souls of Mischief before this last one with Adrian Young?
It was Montezuma's Revenge, and that was produced by Prince Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was
my favorite producers.
Oh my goodness. Man, there's a story about that. We actually rented a house in the mountains out here, and he came and lived with us for like a month. And we were kind of secluded, even sequestered, you know, like, It was crazy. So every morning I wake up and, you know, Prince Paul will be there. It was just so crazy, you know, because I'm a huge fan, and it's just like, this is crazy, bro. I'm waking up every morning, this Prince Paul over there eating cereal or reading the paper or something.
Yeah,
I was like,
he created that world or helped create that world of De La and Gravedigger. Those two separate, weird, dope worlds. You know, I can only imagine.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, you know what? So real quick, it's 2000. By the time people hear this, it's 2016. I know that you're more than just Souls of Mischief. I know that you're more than just Hieroglyphics. You're your own entity. Obviously, I think I can't. Man, you're a part of that forever. What is going on with you guys as a crew, and what's going on with you as a solo artist and as a dad and as a person?
Oh man, yeah, fatherhood comes first, man. I love being a father. That's my dude, my little man. He's playing 3 instruments. He makes beats. He's ridiculous. He plays the guitar so good. His music teacher is like, he's better than me. He's just in the class. You know, it's really some crazy shit. So I'm proud of him. Hyro is gearing up to make a Hyro record. So
nice.
That's in the works. We've been talking about that and bouncing around ideas and processes, because we're all like, you know, grown. Most of us got kids and quite a few of us married. So you know, it's like gotta really deal with life. We're not spring chickens sitting around like, let's make music all day. So we're working on that.
People together for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. You know, let me check my Rolodex. Let me check.
I can only imagine. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we're gearing up for that. I'm working on some stuff with Domino and Dell. It's kind of like really in an infancy, but that's gonna be sometime next year. I just finished up an album with my homeboy Nobody called Growth Theory, and it has a bunch of people on it. It has like Grouch on it, Dell on it, some other people. So that's going to be a good one. That's coming out early 2016. I have a project coming out that I'm working on with the one and only Ariano.
I was going to say, I heard you got a project with me.
Yeah, that's it, man. You should hear his beats though, bruh. And you should hear his son sing, bro. His son gets down. But anyway, the people going to hear that one day. Coming up 2016.
Real quick, man. I can't wait for people to. I'm gonna say this. I can't wait, for people to hear the collaboration between myself, A+. I've got my son on there. Man, let's get your son on the project as well, and then we gotta get your son and my son. I know they met. But let them produce. My son has been making tracks, and that would be awesome for them to maybe produce a track for the project or something.
Man,
I don't know.
Man, yeah, that'd be awesome. You know, the kids, they are the future, brother. So yeah, let's make it happen, man. But 2016 is gonna be a good one. I really feel, I love making music, man, and I'm always gonna do it, and it's what I enjoy doing, and I'm always gonna make more. And Hieroglyphics, the brand, the company, the family is all still in full motion. We had our 4th annual Hyro Day, which is a holiday in Oakland where we throw a street festival. Of course, your son came down there. It was good to meet him. And it was successful.
How many years in a row? For people? So for people who haven't been to Hyro Day, man, I'm sleeping. I have not been to Hyro Day. I will be there next year. What's the turnout now? And what part of the city is it in and all that stuff?
Well, we the first year we had it in downtown Oakland, and the 3 years after that we had it in West Oakland, kind of around Linden Street Brewery, around 3rd and 4th, and over in the West. And so the first 3 years we didn't charge, and it went from 9,000 to 15,000 to 25,000. In those 3 years, and it got really too big. It got too big to throw, so we charged a mere $19.93 last year to get in, and it was still wildly successful. It was not as much of a potential dangerous event because of so many people, and we bought out some more space, and it was wildly successful. We had 3 stages, artists I can't even remember how many artists. It was a ridiculous amount, but we had 3 stages.
You guys had a lot of, you guys had Reese, man. One of my favorites.
Yeah, we had Reese. She was amazing.
Album. No one knows about that album. But anyways, don't get me started.
Oh my goodness. So you're a Reese fan too, I see.
Bro, that first album, her first album is a classic. But anyways, I digress. But yes, keep going.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. And you know, yeah, I wish that anybody listening, if you could look at some of the lineups over the last 4 years, you could see what we're talking about. Yeah, and it just goes to show that, you know, no matter what's going on in the commercial world, the commercial machine, and I'm the last one to like be a hater and doubt that or talk any kind of crap about that. Well, what I'm saying is there are other kinds of music out there that people enjoy and want to hear and will come support, even if they're not not visibly in the mainstream or in the commercial arena as much. And that's what we love about throwing Hieroglyphics Day so much, because it's not so much about hieroglyphics. It's about, you know, we're one of those groups that we're not on the radio and we're not on, you know, we're not getting like 2 million, 3 million, 10 million views on any videos or anything like that in a week or anything. But people will come out and support us, and there are countless other groups like that, and we like bringing them all together and just showing that there's an audience for these groups that aren't as commercially visible. A large audience of every kind of person is shows up there. You know, the demographics are ridiculous. It's every age, every shade, every color, every style of person comes out, and they all have a good time. We haven't had one problem all year, and this is a good look for the city of Oakland, which is known as a really rough city, to where we haven't been able to have public events that don't get shut down because, you know, it's just like a wild city. But this just shows that, you know, with that vibe, with that, you know, just love and just wanting to have fun and you know, enjoy some music, we can make it happen if we work together, you know, and Hyrule Day is symbolic for that. So anybody, you know, check it out, look online or whatever. It's an amazing day. Everybody, the police come there and look at it like a vacation. You know?
That's what's up, man. Well, man,
straight up.
You know, I think there's groups like you, people like you, hopefully show everybody, especially the youngsters, man, that don't chase style. You know, create your own style. And if it happens to become popular, that's great. If it doesn't, you know, still just, you know, keep your integrity to who you are, because
integrity.
You're always, man. Music goes in cycles, and it goes up and it comes down. But man, if you've got 100, you know, if you're a young artist out there, if you've got 100 people that loyally follow you, you can turn that 100 people into a career. And some people, just if you're willing to have the patience and if you're willing to hold that integrity and to take the time to build that audience and turn the 4 to 40 to 4,000 and to go from 93 to 2016 just shows people that, man. And I just want to say thank you to you, your crew. I appreciate your contribution to music, and man, I look forward to building with you in the future, bro.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate you, man. Much love to you and yours.
Yes, sir. This is Popular Nobody, Episode 3. We're on the Wake the Flock Up Network. This has been A+. My name is Ariano. We're going to end this song on a high note. Turn your radios up, turn your phones up, turn your speakers up. If you're in the train, turn it up. If you're in the car, same thing. This is Popular Nobody. Peace.
Once again, thank you, world. Appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to Popular Nobody. My name is Ariano. I want to give a special thanks to Concept 714, the Wake the Flock Up Network, and just to everybody out there working hard, trying to find their way through life. We're going to end this show on a powerful note, as we always do. This is Pusha T featuring Jill Scott. Sunshine. Let's go.
I say, hey, sunshine, oh, how the day can be so long. I say, hey, sunshine, oh, how the day be so long. I say,
America, you need a miracle. Beyond spiritual, I need a real view. I hold a mirror to it. These ain't new problems, they just old ways. I seen one time turn sunshine into Freddie Gray. Just another nigga dead, just another nigga dead. Send another to the feds, send another to the feds. Not guilty, still I'm filthy. In Fox eyes, we the dark side, so they tell you lies. Through a TV, CNBC, CNN, Don Lemon, no quality when you meet me. In order to be me, you gotta see what Chief Keef see. Brenda's baby next door to the candy lady. Same project as Candyman, where they still doing hand in hand. Sunday to Sunday, Pastor only want one day. Grandma praying someday, but God can't hear it over gunplay. Woo! Still a target, but the badge is the new noose. Yeah, we all see it, but cell phones ain't enough proof, so we still lose.
Sunshine, oh how the day can be so long. I say, sunshine, oh how the day can be so long. I say,
I don't got no march in me, I can't turn the other cheek. While they're testing your patience, they just testing my reach. Funeral flowers every 28 hours, being laid over hours. Sworn to protect and serve, but who really got the power? Looking over their allowances, building prisons where the mountains is. Laptops is for the county kids, metal detectors is where ours is. They'll never rewrite this, like they rewrote history. The fact that the Statue of Liberty was black is a goddamn mystery. And so it goes, every truth don't get told. All these cops get cleared and lives are stole. Every goose don't let go, whoa. Just another nigga dead, just another nigga dead. Send another to the feds, send another to the feds. They calling the National Guard, public enemy, I am Chuck D. Flavor Flav and Louis V, but I'm Huey P. Woo! The new elite, it's either you or me. Let the sun shine, cause they dark clouds trying to ruin me.
it's more than Baltimore, from shore to shore. Oh Lord, patience torn, patience gone. Oh Lord. Shine, shine, how the day be so, shine, shine, how the day.
Welcome to Popular Nobody. We don't care if you're famous. Just make sure what you create is fly as fuck.